All right, welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. A new roof is a big investment. Everyone knows that. But when it's time to better protect your home, your belongings, your family, the name to remember is Daniel Hood Roofing. You'll not find a roofing company or a person more dedicated to taking care of his clients than Daniel Hood and Daniel Hood Roofing. Call them today or visit them online, danielhoodroofing.com. Okay. As I said in the tease, I'm already hearing people say, well, Heupel's going to have to win 8 games next year. He's going to have to win 8 or 9 games next year. Got me thinking, what level of success does he need to hit over the next few years to be considered a success? And I thought, let's have some fun with numbers. So let's take a look at some blind resumes here. First coach has been at his school 17 years. Overall winning percentage, 68%. His average record is 8-4. 1 conference title in 17 years. 3 division titles, 6 10-win seasons, 4 major bowls, only 1 losing season. The next coach, 8-4, about 67%. He's been there 8 years, 1 conference title, 1 division title, 3 10-win seasons in 8 years. The next coach, about the same, 8-4, 8 seasons, 1 conference title. Would Josh Heupel, would Vol fans accept this from Josh Heupel? Which of these would be considered? I mean, do you see Josh Heupel lasting here 17 years? With those numbers? Do you see him lasting here 8 years with those other numbers?
I'd say more likely 8 years.
Okay, 8 years. Thoughts on these guys?
8 years. I mean, if you get a conference title at some point during your 8 years,
buys you time.
You get 8 years. I mean, for sure.
Well, and then the 3 10 wins. I mean, that's the spike up, which would tend to give you a little bit more room. I mean, obviously it didn't help Butch Jones when he got to 9 a couple of times, but and then the having no losing seasons in the last one, that's a positive as well, because unfortunately that floor has dropped at Tennessee in recent years.
Okay, Marlon, you got anything to weigh in on this one?
Man, I think those are pretty good numbers for 8 years, to be honest with you.
I wonder if the fans watching this feel the same as we do, because my guess is there are people saying 1 conference title, that's it. But let's take a look at the names. That's Mike Gundy, James Franklin, and Gus Malzahn. So we don't think he would get the Gundy treatment here.
No, absolutely not.
But maybe the Franklin-Malzahn. That's Franklin at Penn State, and that's Malzahn at Auburn. I think the Malzahn comparison is a pretty good one. Runs that same kind of system. Mm-hmm. But all these guys, you look at 8-4, I mean, people don't like that, but Philip Fulmer was just a tick under 9-3 for his average, if you take his winning percentage over 12 games. And he only won 2 championships in 16 years. Mark Richt, 1 championship in 15 years. So when you see people talk about these situations in the theoretical, and they say, well, you ought to win a couple of SEC titles, you ought to go to Atlanta 4 times in 10 years and all this stuff, that's not really how it works when you look at what coaches really do. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think a lot of fans out there, here, elsewhere, they look at the theoretical and they never look at the real numbers. And it skews how they view their current coach, because they're thinking in this la-la land, when the reality is, unless you're Nick Saban, you don't have that kind of success.
Well, and John, to your question as to how different are the fans viewing those numbers to us, the one line that wasn't there was national championships. And that's what the standard and desire is for this fan base. Obviously, it's been a while since it's happened, but they don't want to be just Malzahn or Franklin or Gundy. Tennessee fans think that this program should be more, win national championships, and at least you got to mark once, I think, for fans to be happy with that coach.
I don't disagree with you. And I think a lot of schools now view it as national championship or bust.
Right, and Franklin had the 1 losing season. That was last year, right? The
COVID year.
The COVID year.
And it was a 1 game under 500.
Yeah, so when does that happen? Because this obviously wasn't a losing season. What if it's in the next couple of years? Then you're not probably going to get that chance to get to years 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on when you get there. I mean, does Philip Fulmer last as long as he did if you guys don't win the title in 98? No. If you lose to Florida again that year, does he ever get to year wherever? So it does depend on when the losing seasons come, when you win that title. I just think that if you're looking at Josh Heupel and you told me he could perform as well as James Franklin at Penn State, and you're Tennessee and where you've been the last, I would take that all day, every day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Same with Gus Malzahn. If you do that, then you've at least got a foundation to build on after that.
I think as the end result, but fans still want to feel like they have a coach that can spike up and win them a championship. I don't know that if Gus Malzahn is the coach of Tennessee fans feel like he's a guy that can win us a championship. So they have to feel like there's hope for a national title, even if the end result, when after the 8 years or whatever.
Although he came closer to national title than those others, his first year back at Auburn.
That's true.
He took the team that he kind of inherited, and he'd been on the team, he'd been on the staff and recruited some of those guys, but he took a team that he inherited to the BCS title game, or the BCS title game at that point.
I'll say this. I think if we are competitive versus Georgia and Florida, especially Florida, where it's we're kind of one off it every other year. Right. I think Tennessee fans are very excited about that, and he keeps that job longer. But if it's a run of the Florida trip where we win one out of the next, 8, then you got a problem.
That'd be a good switch for Tennessee if it's one every 8, because right now it's like 1 out of 15. All right, very good. Marlon Walls, Will Overstreet, thanks for coming in today. We'll see you next Sunday. Josh Vince, hang around. We're talking basketball next. The Vols got a good quality win on the road. Mark Pankratz and Isaiah Victor are with us next. Come on back on the Sports Source.